So it's great having you here, Mr. Adams. And I would like to start by asking, as a son of Holocaust.
First of all, please call me Sylvan.
Sylvan.
Because Mr. Adams was my late father.
Okay. So I would like to ask you, as a son of Holocaust survivors, your father was also fighting the War of Independence. How is your background shaped the way that your approach towards Israel, towards the Jewish people, the importance, you've dedicated your life basically to the Jewish people?
So both of my parents came through Israel, through Palestine. My father escaped during the war. Both my parents were Romanian, but they met in Canada. And they took different journeys. My father was put into slave labor in Romania. Romania joined the Axis powers, so they were never invaded by Hitler, and they put the Jews to work towards the war effort. And as my father liked to say, they forgot to feed us, and he realized that he may not survive if he continued like this, and he managed to escape, and he came to Palestine, and as you mentioned, he fought eventually in Israel's War of Independence. My mother came, she was in hiding during the war, and she came after the war in 1947 and was sent by the British, sent away, and ended up in an internment camp in Cyprus for 6 months before the State of Israel was declared, and they could come to here, which is essentially the story of Leon Uris's Exodus.
Wow, incredible.
And I grew up in a Zionist home, so my parents didn't look back. They didn't lament over the hardships that they faced. They were always very forward-looking and positive people. But I did grow up in a Zionist home, very Zionist home, and it was only natural. I also met my future wife. We met on a kibbutz several years ago, quite a number of years ago, so it seemed very natural for us to make Aliyah. And the best form, of course, of Zionism is expressed with one's feet, and here we are.
Yeah. Incredible. And speaking about Aliyah, you have a very ambitious plan in bringing Jews to Israel. Do you think the recent outburst of anti-Semitism around the world, especially in the US and now Australia, will make that shift in coming back to Israel, coming to the homeland, basically?
We need this million immigrants to which you referred, because we need to keep the demographic balance in Israel. And I like to say that the Jews of the former Soviet Union, they saved the country in many ways. We see them involved in every walk of life here in the country. And so we need another million immigrants to come here and inject the same kind of energy as the previous wave, and so this is of an existential nature for us. And what happens is we have a push factor, as you described, the anti-Semitism that is happening all over the Western world. But also in Israel, we need to create the conditions. We need the pull factor. Nobody wants to move to Israel and have to downsize. Everybody wants to advance their lives and their opportunities. So we need to create the conditions, and I am trying to help make this a priority for the State of Israel to welcome with proper employment, housing, education, healthcare, and all the rest of it.
Lowering the taxes, we won't mind, just a bit. But I would like to ask you, we're seeing this coordinated propaganda war against Israel. Billions of dollars have been invested in lies, in spreading propaganda against Israel. How can we fight this even?
Well, you're absolutely right. This is a campaign that started 25 years or so ago, and it's led with unlimited funds. Basically, they put $1 trillion into this campaign against us. And it's like October the 7th, when they saw, we saw the protests literally on October the 8th while we were still counting our dead. So this has nothing to do, this anti-Semitism that we've seen has nothing to do with Israel or what Israel did or didn't do. While we were still counting our dead, they were protesting in the streets of Manhattan, in Sydney, in London, in my native Montreal, and so this is an organized campaign. It's led by the Qataris, with help from their friends, the axis of evil, the Iranians, and more recently even the Chinese, that don't have a beef with Israel or the Jews, but see this as a front in their war for world domination against the West. So this isn't Israel's fight. Honestly, this is a fight, a clash of civilizations. It's a war that, like I said, it's like they flicked on the switch after October the 7th, while we were seen to be weak and vulnerable, and they unleashed their operatives that they had infiltrated with hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, and we saw this.
Is there a way for the state of Israel to even combating that? Because
look, we are the startup nation, and we did miracles in our physical wars. We had a 7-front military campaign, and we succeeded in defeating all of our enemies. And I heard the Prime Minister yesterday talk about an 8th front, which is anti-Semitism. And so the first thing you have to do is recognize that this 8th front is also a strategic threat to us here, and that we cannot survive in isolation. And once Israel makes a priority, we Israelis are winners. Once we make a priority of something, I have no doubt that using our skills and the miracles that we did, the science fiction that we accomplished in the physical wars, that we will be equally successful in combating anti-Semitism. You know, the Qataris only have money. We have everything else.
amazing. We have everything else and incredible people that are coming up on stage today, including yourself, that are doing so much for the state of Israel. Sylvan Adams, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you.
Thank you very much.